Well, studies show that 1 out of 4 Americans are survivors of child sexual abuse. That can be daunting for churches trying to help the adult victims while also protecting potential victims. Heather Sells shows us why it's such a challenge.
The church should be the last place that parents worry about taking their children.
But instead of providing a safe place for kids, child sexual abuse experts say church can actually be dangerous by providing a welcoming environment for predators.
We so focus on issues such as forgiveness and grace. Offenders are drawn to those places.
Former child abuse prosecutor Boz Tchividjian says many churches unintentionally attract those who want to prey on children.
Churches are always in need of volunteers. I've never been to a church that was not in need of a volunteer. And churches are very trusting.
To help churches in the fight against this trend, Tchividjian began the GRACE Initiative, which stands for Godly Response to Abuse in the Christian Environment. In recent years, he's seen progress as believers talk more openly about the problem. But what Tchividjian would like to see now, more denominations and local churches developing policies that minister to survivors and protect kids.
You have to know about how offenders think and act so you can stay a step ahead or 2 steps ahead of them.
Often the biggest challenge for churches is learning how to respond to reports of abuse. That's because abusers have often been well-liked and trusted leaders.
When the 13 or 14-year-old kid in the youth group who's caused a lot of trouble in the youth group, who comes from a broken home, who maybe even has had some trouble with the law, when that 15-year-old comes forward and says, this particular person in the church has sexually abused me, and that particular person happens to be an elder or a leader or a well-respected person in the church, how are we going to respond to that? Because that's where I see the breakdown.
Tchividjian calls on churches to quickly take sexual abuse reports to the authorities and be prepared to minister to victims, offenders, and their families. This shedding of light on darkness, he says, is the best way for the church to move forward and demonstrate integrity in a fallen world. Heather Sells, CBN News.